Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Akhihood podcast. We're bringing you couch talk. I'm going to pass it over now to my brother Ayub, who's going to be leading this one.
Okay, Bismillah. So today we're going to be talking about piety towards parents. I've got quite a range of questions and hopefully we can get through all of them, inshallah. We're going to crack on straight away. First question is, can you share a significant memory or a lesson that you learnt from your parents that shaped who you are today? I'm going to start with Adam, inshallah.
Okay, I wasn't expecting you to start with me. Can you repeat the question, please?
So, can you share a significant memory or lesson that you learnt from your parents that shaped who you are today?
Yeah. I think my mum, alhamdulillah, growing up, I actually spoke about this yesterday, funny enough. Growing up, alhamdulillah, I'm a bit bigger than the majority of brothers that I know. Height, by the way, yeah. I ain't talking about this side, yeah. but my mum always told me, look, use your... Go on, get your last out. He just deeped it.
Nah, just deep what he said, yeah.
My mum always told me, you're bigger than a lot of brothers. You know how to hold yourself. She always taught me to stand up for the little person. Stand up for the brothers that weren't able to. And sometimes I got my head kicked in doing so. And other times, that person was stood up for. I think that's one lesson my mum taught me, to, stand up for those that aren't able to stand up for themselves. But then the second lesson, which is the most important, which I probably should have started with, is salah. My mum always told me, she goes, you're a man, pray your salah wherever. For a woman, it's a bit difficult to just do it on the street or wherever, But for a man, there's really no excuse. And my mum always taught me just pray your salah no matter what. Don't ever be embarrassed, don't ever be shy to pray your salah because people are watching. And it shouldn't matter where you do it. And I think that's a big lesson my mum taught me. They're looking at straight in my eye. I just woke up and I'm hitting death stairs.
Because I feel like I was there in the moment,
Yeah.
And,
I was seeing you as a child growing up and your mum giving you that advice. It was put quite nicely, inshallah.
Wafflers, isn't it?
Top tier. Top tier wafflers.
But go on, since they're wafflers and
Me?
you're not.
For me, I can't learn one big lesson I learned was gratitude. Always been grateful to Allah. My parents would always tell me life isn't the best, but there's always someone that has it worse. Do you know what I mean? And then I used to think to myself as a kid, you lot are waffling, man. Just come on. But growing up, getting tested a lot, then you actually realize it okay, you have it bad, but there's always someone out there that has it worse. Yeah, with my parents, I'm guessing everyone's the same. I'm hoping everyone's the same. You take their good and you leave their bad. So you look at any bad traits they have and you kind of learn from it and you tell yourself, yeah, when I'm a parent, I'm not going to have that trait. I'm going to try and not have that trait. Inshallah, I don't have that trait. And you take their good. And one of the best things I took was gratitude.
I don't want to stop him from answering, but really quickly on what you said, that you take the good and you leave the bad. I think, it's important for people to remember that it's their first time being a parent too,
Yeah.
We act like, they're our parent, they're meant to know everything. They're going through their own life too, and it's their first time. Okay, maybe you're the second child or third child, but it's their first time ever having a second or ever having a third. It's always going to be their first time as well in these situations. So I know we look at our parents, they're perfect, etc. But we have to understand that, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
We clock when we become adults that being an adult is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not, bro.
Yeah.
Tax
Just
returns.
touching upon the theme that you were talking about gratitude. Correct me if this is hadith or it's ayah from the Quran, but in Islam we have the saying, ma yashkur an-nas, ma yashkur Allah. The one who doesn't thank the people doesn't thank Allah. So I think gratitude is an important trait to have, not only as Muslims but as just everyday people in society. And to going on to my lesson that I learned from my parents. Actually, I'll give you a lot of funny one, yeah? So when I was in year 4, I had a mate and he had a family friend who was in year 6. And I was kind of small as a kid, but...
See, my mum would have told me to look after you.
But,
Now he's chunky.
This family friend of my friends, he was in year 6 and he's quite big. And whenever he used to see us, always used to pick on us. Headlocks, throws, all that kind of stuff. And one day, it was just annoying me. I couldn't do anything about it because I was a small kid, obviously. So I went home, asked my mum, what can I do about this? He's bigger than me, and he's obviously a family friend of my friends, so I don't want to disrespect him and take it to a level where he's pissed off at me too. What can I do? So he used to headlock me, and my mum said to me, think about the position, man. He's got you in a headlock, and he's bigger than you. simple. You get him where it hurts.
Oh,
Get him where it hurts. So she basically said to me, anywhere you can grab, pinch. Just pinch and pinch and pinch. And before brothers start thinking weird stuff, no. We're talking about his thigh. Relax. Talking about his thigh.
fair enough.
So, yeah, it just... That story, it's a funny one. But at the same time, it's, you know, everyone has a weakness. That's what it taught me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting for like
That's
the moral, you know. But we got there. And you, brother, stop pushing this, yeah, because you want me to laugh at him. All right.
You know what I found funny? That you went to your mum first.
Oh, my dad was also at work. That's why.
Oh, okay. So that's I'm gonna touch upon that. So
Yeah.
I'll talk about my lesson quickly. Growing up, I think I was closer to my mum because my dad was always at work.
Mhm.
But the lesson I'm gonna say is from my dad, and it is to work hard and to finish my education. I remember that he worked a lot of menial jobs. He was cleaner, chef, and he would work Monday to Friday, like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then on the weekend, instead of chilling and like, I don't know, taking his kids out, he would go to a market and go sell things. So he was basically working 7 days a week. And it did take a toll on his health. So it basically taught me a lesson to not work too hard, but also whenever I'd come back from school, he would be back from his second job, from his first job, on his way to the second job. And he'd be telling me, just make sure you finish your education so you don't have to do jobs like this. So you're rewarded for working not as hard as I am. And that stuck by me. And I would always remember that whilst I was doing uni assignments, dissertation, etc. In terms of actual moral principles, being someone that has to be a sort of provider, someone that works hard, I think I learned that a lot from my dad. Next question. How does your cultural background shape your understanding of the duties and responsibilities towards parents?
With my culture, I knew I'd see that. I knew it. I didn't need to look at me
Do
like.
you want to tell the people what your
which
culture
one?
is?
No, I don't. We keep that a mystery. I've always been taught to respect the youngest as much as I will respect the oldest. We don't have these things where the room is just all the elders sitting down and kids aren't allowed in. Now, if anything, the kids are encouraged to sit down. I'm not sure if it's the same with you guys. Like literally, you would have the oldest in the family sitting side by side with the youngest, like it's nothing. While there's all this political stuff happening within the house. That taught me a lot. Like growing up in school, for example, Faris would know, I would treat the head teacher of the school the same way I treat the cleaner, with respect. Just because he's wealthier than him, let's say, or he has more power, more status, doesn't mean he's a better human being, a better person. You treat them all the same. That's one lesson that I learned growing up, is just respect everyone, no matter their status, no matter their age. All people are the same.
Oh, just on that, I remember us being on the lunch table.
Do you know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
the cleaners just walking by, always
The
making
janitors,
convo with
yeah.
us and stuff. Yeah,
Like the janitor would literally come and sit with us because how we treated him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was a very shy guy as well,
Yeah.
very nervous. But because we were good to him, we treated him like a friend, like we would treat anyone else. He would just come sit with us, talk about his like family, his life, everything.
So do you think that's from culture then?
For me, yes, but I'm not
Okay.
saying it's only my culture that does it. Growing up, that's what I was learnt from my culture. My peoples would do that. But yeah, obviously, you can still respect people without it being within your household. You know what I mean?
So that's what you learned from your parents, right?
Yeah.
In your culture, what does it tell you to do to like honor your parents? How do you treat your parents in your culture?
It's more to do with the religion that we follow
Yeah.
rather than the actual culture itself.
Okay, so that's
My culture would be Islam. Like all of us as Muslims, our religious culture, that's our main culture, that's what we follow, is respect your parents. Like Bir al-Walidain, for example. Like even brothers and sisters that are reverts, but even if your parents are atheists, for example, you are taught to respect your parents.
I was thinking about the World Cup, Qatar. When Morocco were doing quite well, a lot of them were bringing their mums onto the pitch. That's a cultural thing. Again, it's Islam. You honour your mum first 3 times and then the father. Of course, the father plays a massive role as well. But some different cultures across the world sort of had an issue with that. They would show a mum hugging their son and then show a picture of a monkey hugging their child. And I was thinking, are they not used to having caring mother and a child that really loves their mother? And honors their
Monkey
parents?
hugging their child.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think this was either Denmark or Norway, one of the 2 countries. And they did eventually apologize for that. They just found it so weird that the players were just running to their mums and out of like excitement. So it's always just like, you're still a child with your mother. And I think you should continue being like that, but also have a lot of respect. I think in my culture, it's more the mother always, but the father makes the final decision. So that's my understanding of duties and sort of responsibilities.
So it's very traditional, isn't it?
You're very
Just a traditional background, yeah.
And not
Yeah.
to be rude, but those countries that were doing that type of nonsense at the time,
Yeah.
with all due respect, culture it has traits to it that we wouldn't necessarily respect. They bring out their girlfriends and their wives, they show them to the world wearing certain clothing. I don't want to talk too much, but
Fars is on smoke.
we don't respect. We don't
Fars has
respect
got an
that.
agenda.
We don't respect that. We're here respecting our elders, our parents, and you're comparing them to monkeys.
Fars, I see smoke coming out your ears.
No, but that was a shock. That was a bit of a shock to the system, and I was like, the fact that they did eventually apologize, it shows that they can learn from mistakes, which is a decent thing. Go on,
But who
go on.
apologized exactly?
I think it was the news station or who
So,
the anchor that
Like,
spoke about it.
then you have to ask: are they apologizing to save face, or are they apologizing because
yeah.
they mean it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that happened. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. In terms of my culture, to be honest, I'm not the most cultural person, so I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly. But I know obviously in my culture, it's a little bit of the opposite to yours. You said like, for example, the kids, the elders will be like this.
Yeah.
For us, I guess in our culture, we kind of try to elevate the elders a little bit. So I guess you could say that that's something cultural. But in terms of my actual household and what my mum taught me is similar to what your culture is then, in terms of respect or a cleaner. In the eyes of Allah, a cleaner can be placed higher than, for example, I don't know, a lawyer. Just for sake of argument. In terms of culture, there's maybe the elder thing, but in terms of my actual household, it's just to respect everyone. My mum always used to tell me the story. I was an only child growing up, so, they're spoiled and they have their tantrums, whatever. My mum used to always tell me this story. And I don't know if it's authentic. I don't know if she made it up. I don't know if anything like that. Maybe you've heard something similar in your cultures. But she used to always say there was a boy and his mother asked him for a glass of water or a cup of milk or whatever it may have been. And he went to get it. And he obviously got the cup of water. He's gone to his mum and his mum's sleeping. He don't want to wake her up. He didn't want to disturb her because she's sleeping. So he just stood there and just waited. She slept throughout the whole night. She woke up. She's like, what, you're still here? He's like, yeah, you're my mother. Like, I have the water here ready for you. And for me, I don't know where that story came from. For me, that's something massive. You should elevate your parents so high. And for me and my mum, personally, my mum comes before everything. And Jannah's under, the feet of your parents, specifically your mother. So in terms of culture, I don't really know too much. But in terms of my household, my mum's just number one. I know that's not really what you asked, but...
No, but
Number
I was going to say, your mum didn't make that up because I read something very similar. The reason why I brought this topic up was from a book, Piety towards Parents, by Ibn Jawzi. There was a man that he would also sacrifice not giving milk to his children and give it to his parents first.
Mhm.
There's that story. And there's another one, very similar as well. I'm going to quickly paraphrase, where a man was imprisoned with his father. And when he was imprisoned, he knew that he needed to wake up for Fajr alongside his father. So what he did is that he would keep a bucket. And in that bucket, keep the water so that his father can make wudu. But the guards noticed and they started taking it away. But he managed to keep one, a really small container. And in order for his father to have warm water to make wudu in the morning, because the water was quite cold, he would keep the container close to his stomach the whole night so that when he would wake up, his father can make wudu with that water. But yeah, very, somewhat similar.
Mm-hmm.
I've just got another hadith, I think it's a hadith, sorry. But again, it was in this book by Ibn Jawzi, where it talks about the importance of dua from the mother. Because we're talking about the mother, so I thought, let me speak about that. Again, I'll paraphrase. There was a time where a boy was imprisoned by the Romans, and his mother goes to the chief in the town and starts complaining. My son was in prison, he was taken. And the man was just looking at her and he didn't answer. He just put his head down. I think the main reason for that is because he knew when he saw the mother really distraught, whatever she would make dua for would happen. Mm-hmm. So the mother then went on to start making dua that he's freed. And the boy had shackles on his feet and they kept him breaking. So the Romans would come with a locksmith, fix the shackles, and again they will break. And he'll continue walking and they'll start shouting at him, stop breaking the shackles. But they kept him breaking because the mother's making dua. And then the Romans said to the boy, do you have a mother? He said, yes, I do. And they said, as Christians, they said, you've got a mother that's praying for you. We can't keep you with us. So they took him back to the Muslim side. And because of how distraught the mother was and how much dua she made for her son, he was eventually freed. And now I'm going to talk about a real life story from my side in terms of the dua of the mother. There was a time when I was working as a bike courier during sixth form. I just wanted to make some money. And my mum didn't like the fact that I was cycling because it was quite a long distance that I was cycling. And it was February, quite cold, dark. I said, Mom, I just want to make money. It's fine. She said, no. And this is, again, the importance of actually listening to your mother. I didn't listen. She said, I'm going to make dua, your bag gets stolen. Next day it got stolen.
Wow.
I was like, Mom.
crazy.
I said, Mom, I'm trying to make money. But what had happened is that I was running late to school. And usually I'll chain it up inside the bike shed. But that week, I didn't want to be late. If I was late one more time, I wouldn't get a bursary. I made sure I was on time. So I chained the bike outside the school. And that's when it was taken. But yeah.
SubhanAllah.
Never anger your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Essentially.
facts.
In your opinion, what is the most crucial role that parents play in the upbringing of a child?
I'll lead the battalion on this one, as the warriors say. In terms of what's funny, brother? Okay.
Lead the battalion.
He said he's the captain now.
Wow. Shout out the Somalis.
Yo.
Shout out the Somalis.
That was actually kind of
Okay.
good.
Faris
That
is
was
my
a good
favorite
one.
Somali.
I can't like his, yeah. I can't, Faris, I have to give it to you. You are my
Yeah.
favorite Somali. Yahya Rabi, close second.
Do you know what the crazy part is, guys? I'm not even Somali.
What?
Wait,
This whole
you're
time-
not Somali?
Yeah.
Bro, we grew up together. You told me you're Somali.
Fairness, please
No,
stop.
but wait, hold on. This is a breakthrough right now.
Yeah.
You're not Somali?
Yeah.
This whole time I thought you were Somali?
Yeah, lying's a sin, brother. You know that?
Lion King. Adam. Simba.
Lying is a
Rafiki.
sin.
I think you can tell everyone's lacking sleep
Kovu.
today.
Kofu. Oh, you ain't seen Lion King 2.
Yeah, he doesn't know it. Yeah.
What was the childhood, brother?
Lion King was
books.
actually...
Lion
Lion King actually came,
That's good. That's a good.
uh,
reply,
It
that's a
wasn't
good
in
reply.
books. But sorry. He's
just
getting
quickly, because he
onto
spoke about Lion King,
Live action.
it was influenced by Najasa, which is...
By who?
And Najasa, or the Negus, which
Yeah.
is...
us. Najashi.
Najasi,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Najasi.
The Jasa is something.
Yeah, sorry. long day. And Najasi, which is the Negus, which is essentially the king or
Yeah.
ruler of Abyssinia. That's where Lion King came from.
Yeah.
From him. As in,
Really?
yeah, that's what the story is from.
That's really interesting.
Wow.
And now we have an Abyssinian to start talking. So carry on.
Oh, yeah.
Technically,
yeah.
Yeah.
he is Abyssinian.
You are
Guys,
Abyssinian.
this
Yes.
topic is not about where I'm from.
Habashi.
This topic is about
Najashi, please.
First and foremost, when implementing Islam into any household, parents have that responsibility. I think when it comes to teaching to the key principles like salah, zakat, dua as well, these are all concepts that are what they're taught by our parents and onto us, just like their parents taught them once when they were our age. I think for me, the most important thing that my parents ever did teach me was how to pray. Because without salah, how are we going to do in the grave? How are we going to perform in front of Allah on Yom Qiyamah? And how are we going to do in the hereafter? So yeah, I think for me, implementing Islam into your life at early stages, as well as the later stages, because not everybody has a constant, I don't know what the correct me if I'm wrong is, but it's not not everyone has the same trajectory.
So,
Iman goes up and down. So times when we are feeling low, our parents are there. We can ask them for advice, for help, and because they have been in similar situations. So I think implementing Islam in the early stages of your life, that's probably the most crucial part parents ever had in my life, and I'm sure with others as well. But that's my answer to that question. I'm gonna alley-oop it to one of the brothers.
But no, I'm gonna do a sub question for you. How do you think societal expectations of parents have changed over time?
me and brother Adam, subhanAllah, you mentioned the whole your iman going up and down. We had this conversation the other day, and subhanAllah, he was telling me like, alhamdulillah, like life is good right now, alhamdulillah. But he was saying like he was worried his iman might, obviously as it's going up and down, as it does for everyone. He was telling us like, for example, if my iman ever does go down, make sure you guys just smack me in the face. And subhanAllah, I joked to him. I was like to him, bro, I don't have the heart to hit a fly, let alone smack a brother in the face. He was like, no, you fish. He was like, no, I'm talking about like literally like put me in my place. And I think that's good for a man to have. And I think that resonates off how his mum raised him. Do you know what I mean? Because even with my parents was the same thing. Where like, don't ever allow your pride to get in the way of asking for help. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially something like iman, that's something that we need. If your iman does go down and you do need someone to put that back in place, it's not wrong to ask. Don't think like, oh, I'm a big man, I'm not going to ask for help. No, if anything, like asking for help is something that we should do. Even as Muslims, like we should ask for help. Whether it's brothers, whether it's someone older than us, even someone younger than us. Like if a kid came to me and gave me nasiha, thank you. I'm not going to belittle the kid because he's younger than me. Like in Matilda's dad, when he's like, I'm big, you're small. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't do that. Being in need doesn't necessarily make you weak. If anything, you learn from it. Diamond's built with pressure, right? So when you get pressured, you're becoming a diamond.
Oh, you're gonna crack.
Inshallah.
No, I'm joking. I'm
you
joking.
could, yeah, you could, no, he's right. You could crack. You could actually crack. Yeah, you could
No,
crack.
but you know what? Why I said that to you, lot? Because your iman does fluctuate. No one can disagree with that. We know this. Yeah, it goes up and down. It's like a heartbeat. Yeah, and I said to them, naturally, look, my iman's on a high right now. When it goes down, slap me in the face because, alhamdulillah, life's good. You know, like it depends on the person. You can't go do that with everyone. You know, some people they need a different approach. But alhamdulillah, I have like good brothers around me where if my iman does go down now, I can just look to you brothers who inshallah will bring it back up for me. You know, and I was telling you, just slap me straight in the face because life's good. You know, like what do I have to complain about? Alhamdulillah, you have a roof over your head. You have a meal when we were hungry. It's alright.
Alhamdulillah.
And that's another importance of brotherhood as well. You need friends that can slap you back to reality.
Yeah. But my parents taught me that. Like bringing it back to parents, my parents taught me that.
Okay.
They like my and it goes back to dua as well. Like I said earlier, I was an only child, yeah, and I just deeped it now on this podcast. My mum used to always say to me, when you get married, I make dua that you get married into a big family, that you have brothers, you know, and subhanAllah, obviously I'm not married yet, so maybe that dua is yet to come true, but one thing I realized is that dua already came true in a way. My mum used to always make dua, I have brothers. SubhanAllah, with Akhihood, with accurate treats, so I have more brothers than I could ever count. You know, I truly believe that came from those.
It's a good one now. Wallah, it's a good one. It's hit me deep. I can't lie.
Said, dua of the mother.
Yeah, but like, I truly
accepted.
believe that came from my mother's dua.
Yeah.
And it got answered in a way that I don't think any of us could expect. Like she expected it through marriage.
Yeah.
It came way before marriage.
Brotherhood.
Alhamdulillah.
Akhihood.
Yeah, like it came in so many different ways.
Yeah. What challenges do modern parents face that were not as prevalent in previous generations? I'll start this one.
Okay.
Social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Off the
Social
bat.
media and screen time, things like that. Remember when I said I look forward to disciplining my child?
That was crazy.
But I also said going for walks and stuff like etc. But the first thing that I think made everyone laugh was disciplining a child.
But then can we add that what was in brackets?
What was in brackets? I can't remember.
Screen time.
Oh, screen time. Limited screen time. Yeah. And the reason why I said that is because just the day before, I was like, I saw a child. You know, there's children leashes. You know, when a child is on a leash, he's very naughty, right?
I don't know if that's the word I would use.
Yeah, feral is
Just
a
call
strong
it
word.
A runner.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So really, really young, looks less than 5 years old, maximum 4. And he's walking with his mum's holding him. And the whole way when he's walking, he's got a phone. And he can barely see what's in front of him. He's just watching. Okay, first thing I thought, it sounds bad, but I said that's a failed parent. But then also I said, I can't say that because I don't know the whole story. But it's like, it always starts from parents in terms of what they limit for their children. And I personally think I will limit screen time for my children because it doesn't seem natural, it doesn't seem normal. And it really takes over their lives. There's a lot of studies into it whereby the first 3 years you should limit screen time in terms of development for the child. But in terms of like time spent with the child is really important with the parents. So showing them sort of toys. A lot of people have this misconception with certain toys that it makes kids smarter or it makes them more developed. But it's actually what you're showing them as they're playing with their toys that makes them a bit more developed and makes them smarter, etc. So I said that because the day before I was just really annoyed at what I had seen, and you see it quite a lot across young kids, but then you start seeing it in adults as well. So you need to discipline yourself as an adult and as a parent before you start disciplining your child.
Yeah, it starts from the top.
Yeah, it starts from the top. So that's why I said that. We can...
Social media, definitely. Yeah. And also, it's not the problem the child has. I think the problem lies with the parents, but the one I'm going to say is spending time with the kids. Like I remember on our first road trip, do you remember when we went up the mountain? I don't know if I told you, brothers. I think I did. I was going up and you're just tired and you're blocking out all the noise. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just you, yourself, and that mountain. You're trying to get up the mountain.
And in some cases, a ridiculously huge bag that doesn't even belong to you.
Exactly, and full of food that did not taste nice.
I'm not gonna lie though, it slapped because we were hungry.
But then later we deeped it. It was, yeah. I would have rolled.
Would you like give us some context about that really
That
quickly?
bag, yeah, that bag was
in like
interesting.
in like 30 seconds.
Basically, Adam did a
No.
wonderful thing
Oh,
of choosing to
This is a big mistake.
of choosing to carry my ridiculously large bag, which I didn't anticipate would be a problem.
Even though I told you.
I made dua for him that he gets rewarded for that action.
I mean,
And inside that bag
He
was
set me
a
up.
lot of unnecessary stuff, but alhamdulillah, he took the challenge, he took it up the mountain, and he brought it back down. And yeah, I'm grateful to him for that.
okay, now you can't retaliate because you big.
No,
deal.
And that's the problem.
You can't
Do you know what it
retaliate,
is?
you
I
can't
wanted to
retaliate.
say something, then he just made the
Okay,
answer.
don't worry. I got you. I told you not to bring that bag, and you still bought it. Anyway,
But I was gonna say, I think when we were still downstairs, we were still down before we started the trek. Sorry, before I think I even introduced myself, I just looked at him and I said, "You're actually gonna take that bag up the mountain?" I was like, "That's too much."
Yeah,
Because we have done it before, and it's
Yeah.
like you go lightweight, and I was like, "This guy looks like he's gonna go
Rookie mistake.
You know-
yeah.
camping for 5 days."
I purposely didn't bring a bag myself.
Yeah,
I left it
yeah.
in the car knowing that it's gonna be hard. Let me not like add extra weight.
Yeah,
Then I see this miskin guy. I see him. This is the first time I'm meeting him. I just had a car journey with him. Nice brother.
yeah.
I'm like, brother, what are you doing, man, brother? Got a massive rucksack on. 2 people offered before, but he wasn't giving it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to just take it from him. Even when I said, let me take it, he wasn't giving it. I had to force it. It was a big mistake because I suffered. But alhamdulillah, I think it brought us closer. And
100%.
it was nice, And then me and Mohammed, we were like, you know what? We just carry this bag up and down. Let's see what's inside of it. We opened it, there's food. We were so
yes.
hungry,
Yeah.
bro. We
Yeah.
munched. I hope you can forgive us for munching your food.
What's the moral of that story?
eat Farz's food.
There you go. Okay,
wait, what does this have to do with the question?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, let's go back to parents.
Okay.
Parents.
Yes, I believe I was making a point if I was really interrupted by Farz. No, I'm joking.
I
so,
think it was me that interrupted.
so we're going up, and then I see this. I'm assuming they were a couple. They were coming down, and the lady literally goes to him with a bit of sass as well, a bit of bad. She goes, I think you remember. She goes, you know what? Honestly, you want to make money. Forget having kids. She swore. She's like, forget having kids. And the lady was maybe in her 40s, pushing 50s. And I was just thinking to myself, you haven't experienced life. I'm sorry, I'm not a parent, and I'm telling you off the bat now, you have not experienced life.
Yeah.
You don't want kids? I'm sorry, kids are joyful.
Which
Do you know what I mean? They bring happiness into a family.
Blessing.
If a man and wife, obviously I don't know, I'm not married, but if a man and wife have problems, I'm guessing a kid will fix that. Do you know what I mean? Bring them closer.
No.
It can bring them. No. When I say problems,
He is married.
when I say problems, I'm not talking about major problems. I'm talking they're not too close.
If
do you know what I mean?
if anyone's gonna have a child, please sort out your problems before the child
Yeah,
comes.
yeah. But any little problems, for example, if
I take that advice. He's the only one here married.
That's true,
100%.
But I'm saying it'll bring them closer.
Yeah.
Do you agree? The child will definitely bring them closer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll have that one thing in common. Yeah, a lot of people tend to just focus on their work, that 9 to 5, and that's it. That's like the stuff. It's like they worship that job, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? They don't leave time for ibadah, for example. They don't leave time for their kids, and and then that kid grows up to neglect their parents, and then they start thinking, why? Why does the kid neglect me? Look at yourself. You decided to have a kid a bit later. Fair enough. Raise that kid. Do you know what I mean? Be there for that kid.
I think it's usually financial anxiety, but as Muslims we believe rizq
Allah's
comes with the
razaq,
child.
yeah, exactly.
So I think that's why as Muslims we have a lot of good
Yeah.
children.
And just
Definitely,
on
yeah.
that spending time, I think there's a hadith from the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. He said, "Ma takunu abd dinar." Don't be the slave of the dinar, which is basically money. And it goes to how you spend your time. Obviously, we should be making salah. The first thing that should be on our mind is how do we treat our relationship with Allah, and how do we treat the people around us, our neighbors, our families. And just hearing something like that,
Honestly, it made me sick. I was going up, and bear in mind, I'm already tired. I'm hungry. It's
Did
cold,
it wake you up?
bro. Your ears are blocked. You're struggling to breathe. It's high up,
Was it that bad?
and bro. No,
I was chilling at the back.
I was at because we were literally almost at the summit,
Oh yeah.
and I was just thinking, brother, you just finished your mountain climbing. Why are you already talking about all of this, your
Yeah.
career? Do you know what I mean? You're talking about work and stuff. It was on a weekend as well. What are you doing? Coming down, and it's if you want to save money or make money, something like that. Forget having kids.
Good
I
impression.
was thinking, bro, and I look back. I think Hafiz. I think it was Hafiz behind me.
one of the brothers that were there.
I think Hafiz was
Haji.
behind me. Yeah, shout out Master Shifu. He was behind
That's
that.
not.
No.
You just put two
he
different
bugged
people
out. He bugged out.
together.
He bugged out. Alam.
He bugged out.
It was the mountain, bro. I'm still jet lagged. What's his name? Abu. Shout out
your mirrors.
Hafiz as well. Shout out Hafiz as well.
Mohammed,
It was
you need to check
Abu.
your mirrors, bro.
It was Abu.
Oh, okay.
I looked behind me and I was like, bro, did you hear that? He was like, what? I said, never mind. I don't know Jack.
Abu is always out of it. He would never hear anything.
Was he not eating a Subway on top of the mountain?
Yeah.
How can one balance the demands of caring for aging parents with personal and professional responsibilities? So when you get really busy in life, how can you balance that whilst looking after a parent that's getting older?
Can I go straight into this one?
You go straight into it.
I don't think it's acceptable for someone to be able to say, sorry, mum, I'm too busy. Or sorry, mum, I have this going on. Did your mum say she's too busy to feed you when you were a child? Or your father, whoever it may have been, did your parents say that? Did they say, no, I'm too busy to look after you when you were sick and you were crying and you were whatever it was? They raised you their whole life and you will never be able to repay back what they've given you. At least try.
Yeah.
You will never be able to do it, but at least try. These are your parents at the end of the day. If you're not making that effort, if you're making these excuses, I think, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, you're a joke, man.
100%.
And I don't. And if you're a man, I don't think you're a man. I think you're a boy in a man's body.
A little boy.
Yeah.
No, but I was gonna say it is helpful when you've got siblings.
Yeah, no, it is, and I get it. Look, you may be busy sometimes, you know, and I get it. Look, maybe if you've promised to take your wife somewhere, or you've promised you have these commitments, and then your mum's saying, "Oh, can you just help me really quickly, or can you do this?" I get it. It can be hard, but when your go-to answer is no, I'm busy, or it's ask someone else, or it's I don't have the time, I think you're a joke, man. And I think you seriously need to look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself a reality check and fix up. Because your parents didn't say to you, sorry, I can't feed you, I'm busy. Or sorry, you're sick today, deal with it yourself.
I'm not going to lie, just behave yourself. That's your mum, that's your dad. Simple as, no, there's no excuse. You can't come and tell me, oh, but my mum was rude, so what? My mum growing up used to shout at me, used to mug me off. And you know what, let's say, okay, let's forget you're a man. Let's say even for girls, so what? Did you die? Are you still alive? Yeah, your mum mugged you off, and what? Take it, it's not that deep. You're a donkey. Okay, cool, I'm a donkey, mum, thank you. That's it. Take it, wallahi, take it on the chin. Like, behave yourself. Oh, I can't, mum. Why not? Just tell someone else to do it. That's your mum, bro. 9 months. 9 months is a long time, brother. There's care homes around where I live in it, and sometimes I see these old people, like, I'm not gonna lie, majority, it's not like our people's, like our cultures, you know what I mean? But it's still like, I just see this old lady, and sometimes I visit my friend in the hospital, like recently, I just see this old man opposite him. The entire day I was with him, and not a single person came to see him. You have no excuse. Oh, I live in the other side of the world. And? So what? I remember when my grandma passed away, Allah yarhamha, like, my dad wasn't in the country, and for some weird reason, his siblings didn't want to tell him. And then one of them actually had a brain and called him. Took the first flight back.
Yeah.
But then you have people, their parents are still alive. Do you know what I mean? Like, forget their parents. People actually wait for their parents to be on their deathbed until they go see them. And even then, sometimes they don't.
You know, that really bothers me.
Wallah, like, I'm annoyed.
I've seen, and I'm not going to say names because I know this person's probably going to be watching this podcast, but I still want them to take it seriously. It's, their mother's alive, but they have no respect for their mother. They're like, oh, my mother doesn't like me. I'm convinced they don't like me. And then they have family members agreeing, yeah, his mum doesn't like him. I couldn't care if your mum hated you. She still carried you for 9 months.
Literally.
And you can never repay that. She can hate you for the next, 50 years of your life, but you can still never repay her for those 9 months. You're meant to keep ties of kinship. You know, I don't know which brother said it earlier about even reverts, you know, and their parents are atheists or their parents are a different religion, how they're still supposed to keep ties of kinship. Yeah. How important that is in Islam. And you're telling me, oh, my mum hates me. It really annoys me. I think these brothers need a big reality check. Your mum can hate you. I don't care. I mean, for me, I don't even believe that a mother can hate their child personally. Yep. But if you're telling me your mother hates you and you're convinced, I don't care. She carried you for 9 months, brother. You'll never, ever be able to repay a day of that, let alone those whole 9 months.
One thing that I reflected on that, again, the questions that I've brought up were basically from reading that book. And one of the chapters is when parents make dua for you and then when parents make dua against you. That's horrible. Like, if you do have a parent that is not pleased with you, then you do have issues. And there's a hadith whereby there was a young man on his deathbed and people called Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to come and see him. But they were saying he can't say La ilaha illallah, can't say shahada. And then he sort of reflected that, Rasulullah and he said, let's go get his mother. Again, sorry, paraphrasing. They went and got the mother. Rasulullah said to her, just say that you're pleased with him. And we're all witnesses here. And say to Allah, essentially, that you are pleased with your son. After she said that, that's when he was able to say, La ilaha illallah. So it's very important that no matter what's going on in your life, your parents are pleased and happy with the condition that you're in, or just happy how you
I
are.
think if your parents are alive, I think it's your duty to get as many du'as from your parents as possible. If your parents are alive, what are you doing? Like, be there, because there's going to be a time where you lose your parents, you know, or you may even die before them.
Yep.
And we don't know, obviously, when we're going to die. Get those du'as from your parents, because that's what's going to save you.
Like people don't know what they have until it's gone. Wallah, but it literally frustrates me so much. Like, your mum is still here, your dad is still here. Why are you disrespecting them? For what?
Okay.
Because she mugged you off? She got angry at you? So
Okay.
what?
I was just thinking, obviously, there are brothers and sisters that have made hijrah across the world and their parents are elsewhere. Alhamdulillah, we live in a world right now where even a phone call is very easy. You can speak to people anywhere in the world. So it's just so I'm just thinking about people that may have not been able to see their parents for some time so that they don't feel bad.
I'm sorry, there's no excuse.
No, of course, but it's not a matter of actually going to see them, which you do get a lot of reward of actually just looking at your parents, but a matter of like picking up your phone. If you've gone, let's say, over a week without asking for your mother or your father, really.
But every couple of months you can visit them.
Yeah,
No,
of
but I
course.
get what
Of
he's
course.
saying.
No, I hear that, yeah.
Let's
For
say
example,
there's
like
someone that's moved to
international
Australia,
student.
yeah, or
Yeah,
international
you have
student,
an
anything like that.
international
But
student,
like keep in touch, just carry on the relationship because that you still feel close with them.
Yeah,
But if you just completely neglected, then that's what the issue is. I feel like you were gonna come in.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that we all know the ranking here. It goes your mother, your mother, your mother, and then your father. So that alone should let you know how one should treat their own mother, who did carry them for 9 months, who did, be there at the early stages, watch you walk, watch your first bite, watch your first words, all of that, I don't think it's bad or hard to say that, the status that parents have in our lives and how parents are looked upon in our religion and how parents should be treated in our religion.
As a parent, because there's going to be some people that are watching that are parents, it's when you have a child, and it's just so off topic, but it's tied in a little bit, you should raise your spouse in being the first to teach your child Surah Fatiha. And for me, that's crazy, because that in itself, they're going to read it how many times a day? People go, oh, he'll learn it in the mosque, he'll learn. Bro, just take that ajr, man.
Yeah.
Steal that, or not steal it, it's yours, but take it, it's there on a plate for you. You have children, and one of the forms of Sadqa Jariyah is a righteous child who will pray for you when you're gone. You're teaching them that Surah Fatiha, which they're going to read in their salah. Every rak'ah, how many rak'ahs are there in just one day that they're going to be praying,
And that continues with continuous generations as well. So what you taught them, so you might be getting the reward, someone might be getting the reward right now for someone teaching you Surah Al-Fatiha and we never met them, which is crazy. How do you think your relationship with your parents would influence how you parent your own children or interact with younger generations?
I think when we talk about later generations, it's something that we can not necessarily anticipate, but we can prepare. I'm pretty sure our grandparents, whether we know them or not, they were thinking on how our parents' generation would be and how they would behave. Technology-wise, things have sped up in the last few years, where, like you said before, it's easy to make a phone call, speak to somebody halfway across the world. We have FaceTime now, and with the speed of AI and such, Allah alam where we're going to be in the next 10 years. But in relation
Sorry,
to...
I just want to say Muhammad looks angry. I just saw it.
This topic annoys me.
Yeah.
Wallah, because
No,
how dare you? Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, that's your mum.
Yeah.
Wallah, that's your mum. Like, bro, I come back I'm pretty sure you're all the same. If my mum's not home, mum, where are you? I'm out on an appointment. When you coming back? This time. Okay, yeah, do you want me to pee you? Like, bro, it's
10
it
second, 15
frustrates me,
second,
wallah,
20-second calls.
anything,
very
bro.
important.
You know, that's what,
Yeah.
my mom calls me and it's like 10-second call,
Yeah.
It's like I have so many of those that it equates to like
Just a checkup,
hours.
literally.
I literally just went, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? Where are you? Blah, blah, blah. Quick check-in. So much so, like, okay, I'm 24, yeah? People are going to find this crazy. My mom has my location, yeah? No, but it's not like in terms of, I need to know where you are, blah, blah.
It's to prevent her from
Exactly.
having to call.
I have hers. Like, it's
Yeah.
one of them ones. I used to go play football for like 6-7 hours in the summer when we were younger. I come to my phone, 13 missed calls.
Yeah.
Actually, do you think I want my mum worried that something's happened?
Mm.
She's got my thing. She looks at it now. She's like, oh, he's playing football, leave him. I won't
Yeah.
bother him now. Or he's at the podcast right now. You know, I know he's going to finish at this time roughly. You know, I went off topic. So let's go back to you.
No,
land your point.
But even before you asked me that question, the reason why I was a bit like stuttering to answer it is because you know when he mentioned about racing to be the first to teach the child with your spouse Surah Al-Fatiha.
Yep.
It just brought me back where years ago my dad was like at work and he got a random phone call. It was the person who was calling him incorrectly called his number, and it was just a random brother. He said to him, "Listen, I don't know you, you don't know me, but please, just for the sake of Allah, learn Ayat al-Kursi. That's what I'm going to leave you with." And then he left. He just left. Imagine he's the reason.
Sorry, someone called your father?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a incorrect call.
Okay.
My dad didn't know the number. He just answered it, and the brother literally just said, "Just learn Ayat al-Kursi. I'm gonna leave you with that for the sake of Allah. That's it."
No,
It
that's
just
great
hit me.
because you don't know who it is. You know,
Yeah.
for me, it's play on my mind for my whole life. That a random person called me, told me read Ayat Kursi or learn it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And who knows? Maybe
You
he
can
has
smile
that
now, Mohammed. You can smile now.
Funny enough, I've got this thing where like I sleep way after everyone in my house. Do you know what I mean?
We know.
I've,
You keep us awake.
I have problems sleeping in it, so I have this thing where like I'm paranoid that like something would happen to my family, for example. Let's say like my mom would be asleep, for example, and I would like go next to her and I would just see like if her belly's moving up and down. But if I don't see that, then I'll go closer to listen to her breathing. And if I don't hear her breathing, I'll put my finger under her nose like that. If I feel it, I'm like, yeah, my mom's alive. Do you know what I mean?
That's like how parents are with their children.
Do you know, like,
That's
bro,
crazy,
like, I'm not saying like I'm the best son, far from it, but like your parents, if your mum is still here and you're disrespecting her, wallahi, you're not a man. I'm sorry. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you own. I don't care how you could have 4 wives. I don't care what you are. If your mum has, like, correct me if I'm wrong, the Prophet ﷺ even said like a time will come where the parents would fear their children, like they'd be scared.
Yeah.
The child would be the master of their
I'm glad you
parents.
brought that up,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how dare you? Like, you're the master of your parents. I remember that talk we went to when Muhammad Hablas came, and he said, "Your dad is your owner." Do you know? Remember that?
Yeah.
He was like, "No matter everything you own, it's your dad's, whether you like it or not." Maybe he was saying it a bit like in a bit too much, but
Makes sense.
I get where he's coming from. Do you know what I mean? Your dad says something, do something. Abshir, done. So what? Did your life end? Let alone your mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, like, may Allah grant all our dads Jannah, may Allah forgive them for all their shortcomings, but you don't come close to our mums. Like, even if my dad's watching this, I love you, but I'm sorry, my mum's on a different
But you
level.
know what?
He probably won't even understand.
He probably thinks
Wallahi.
the same thing, as in like for his father. and mother.
That's we were talking about that hadith recently, right? When Jibreel alayhi salam came and he sat down.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
Prophet ﷺ, that's where he mentioned it. But you know what you said about Hoblos, yeah? Now this is not from Hoblos,
Yeah.
but this is something I heard recently, and it was the day your father dies.
Yep.
Is the day the only man that wants you to be a better man than them is gone.
Yeah.
For me, that like I read that, I was like, right, like it makes sense though, because another man, as much as I say, for example, I want you to be better than me, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
When it happens, you feel it a little bit. You know, oh, he's doing better than me. You're happy for them. Don't get me wrong, but you feel it a little bit. Whereas a father, without shadow of a doubt, will not feel it. They're like, my son's better than me. Even when it comes to little things, you want your son to be taller than you. You want them to, be bigger than you. You know, chunky.
We have a son 100 challenge. How do you define piety towards your parents?
Behave yourselves. Look after your mum, look after your dad. Doesn't matter what they do, look after them. Piety, make sure they're good. Even if it's, as Brother Adam said, 10-second call. Call your mum, call your dad. So what? Your life's not going to end. You call yourself a man, take it. Take it on the chin. Your mum shouted at you. You call your mum to check up on her. She mugs you off.
Obedience to your parents over everything, and always look at them with a smile.
Just that obedience, yeah. I think what you said, understanding that their dua is what's going to save you. Their Jannah's under their feet. And without them, you wouldn't even be born, bro. Like, as simple as that.
I think piety towards parents. I like that you said smile at your parents. I think that's very important. I think it's just a matter of really listening to them and being there when they need you. either if it's a helping hand or just someone to talk to, someone to share a tea or coffee with. I think that's all it is. Serving them, essentially. It's a matter of just serving your parents. That's why I think piety towards your parents is. But yeah, Jazakallahu khair.
We'll end it there. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. If you like this podcast, give it a like, give it a follow, or subscribe. Sorry, whatever it is. But what I would say, I think a topic like this deserves a part 2. So I think what target we setting them in terms of likes for part 2 to come.
1,000 likes.
Okay, realistic. Like
No,
we, just,
1,000 could be realistic.
we just started. This
I'll make 1,000 accounts and I'll like that video.
1,000 inshallah. 1,000.
1,000 likes?
1,000 inshallah.
1,000 likes. Yeah.
likes, not views.
Yes, 1,000.
Khalas, you man heard it. 1,000 likes. If you liked it, please like. But khalas, assalamu alaikum. See you lot on the next one.